Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Mills. I'm the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Stony Brook University. Um, we are really happy that you have joined us. I did see that we have guests joining us from Massachusetts, Tennessee, North Carolina, Texas, New Jersey, obviously all over New York, which is where we're located, California, overseas, and a bunch of other locations in the US. So we're really glad that you took some time to connect with us on a really fun topic. So now I'm going to turn over the Study Abroad at SBU presentation to Margaret.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Margaret Hartofelis. I am an international programs coordinator in the Study Abroad office. And I'm so happy that you're all here today and interested in study abroad opportunities here at Stony Brook. So I'm going to share my presentation and dive into it. So essentially, what I'll be discussing here today are opportunities for students to study away, what we deem it as. So that includes opportunities to study abroad, outside the United States, and then study within the United States, doing the National Student Exchange Program. So I'll discuss both of those topics. So I always prompt students and their families and friends to consider why study away. Of course, there are personal growth opportunities. When a student studies away, they are forced to step outside their comfort zone, and that is a really great thing. There is growth in discomfort. Students are put into various different scenarios in which you can expand and develop upon your problem solving, critical thinking skills, language skills, leadership skills. I mean, the list goes on, and those are really great skills to have both inside and outside of the classroom. There's also professional expansion opportunities and academic discovery. So all of our programs are credit bearing, and students have the ability to learn how, for instance, their field of interest may work in a different country or in a different state. Maybe you're an economics major and you'd like to know how the market works in England, in London, for instance. You have the ability to see how different fields work in different ways all across the globe. And of course, by going abroad, I mentioned all those different skills that students gain. It's a great opportunity for you to be able to have that on your resume as well. You gain that competitive edge, and because of that experience, and you become more marketable amongst other candidates. Maybe you're applying to, after you, of course, conclude your degree here at Stony Brook, you may want to consider graduate school or perhaps a job after college or even during college. There's going to be opportunities in which you're going to have to provide a resume. Maybe it's a scholarship or a job during your undergraduate career. You're going to have that competitive edge because of your study abroad experience. It shows a lot of really great things as a candidate. And as I mentioned before, all of our credits, no matter the duration, are credit bearing. So our programs will provide students with credits towards their major, their minor, or general education requirements. And then just a little tidbit of information is we have programs that no matter where you go and how long you go for, you're able to earn a general education requirement. So it's not even tied to a course. So you could go to Hawaii, for instance, for the semester, or you can go to London for the summer for 2 weeks, and you would receive at least one general education requirement from just going abroad. And then you would get additional general education requirements by taking those courses that we would, of course, walk students through. So I mentioned this a bit, but of course, we have programs in which students can make degree progress. There's also opportunities for research, service learning, and internships abroad too. So it's great that you're all here today because it's a wonderful opportunity for you to start thinking about this now. Of course, you're not behind by any means. So it gives you a good opportunity to plan accordingly for your academic and financial plan. What I mean by that is maybe you are going to enter Stony Brook as a business major and you know you're interested in going to Copenhagen Business School for the semester. You can plan with your study abroad advisor and your business advisor what courses you may take abroad, and that of course will mean you wouldn't take those courses at Stony Brook. And that's just an example of academic planning. And then financial planning, I'm going to dive into a little bit later, but we have several scholarship opportunities. And the more you plan financially, the more you're going to be aware of those opportunities. You won't let those deadlines come and go, etc. So for starters, I'm going to begin speaking briefly about the National Student Exchange Program. So that is the ability for students to study within the United States. So we have campuses all across the United States, about 170 partnerships in almost every single state. So maybe you think that studying abroad might not be a good fit for you, but you'd like to see how things work at the University of Oklahoma, for instance. It's a great opportunity for you to maybe explore graduate programs. Maybe you know you want to go to vet school in Michigan. You don't know if Michigan's a good fit. Maybe you want to spend the semester there. Or, of course, future employment opportunities. You may know that you want to move to the state of Washington, but you want to experience it first. It's a great opportunity for you to have that experience before committing to a full-time career, for instance, in that state. And of course, as you know, the United States is so vast, and we have all different cultures in different states. Amanda had mentioned that there are students representing many other states here. So you'll come to know in New York, we may have a different culture than someone from Texas does or California. So it's just a really great way to gain different perspectives and, of course, appreciate new cultures because we have so many different cultures here in the United States. And then, of course, so National Student Exchange, it's affordable, accessible, equitable, and inclusive. So we have courses similar to study abroad that'll help students stay on track towards their degree requirements. So again, your major, your minor, your general education requirements. And it's also a good opportunity to explore academic interests. There are programs, of course, where there are course offerings that we might not have here at Stony Brook. For instance, we have a few programs in Alaska. So maybe you want to do an ice climbing course in Alaska. We don't have that option here in New York, for instance, at Stony Brook. And it's a really great opportunity for you to access diverse academic settings. So maybe you would like to study at a historic Black college or university amongst many other universities and get a different diverse experience. So I always recommend students check out the website. Just go to nsc.org, you input Stony Brook University, and then you're able to see all the different programs in which Stony Brook has a partnership with. This is just a screenshot of half of them. So there's a lot more. And what's really great is you can click on each respective school's page and you can see what the school has to offer in terms of courses, housing, meal plans. I mean, so many different details. You're able to find that out in advance. So of course, Stony Brook is a great school, and maybe you would like to take your semester elsewhere and go to Alabama, for instance, for the semester just to see what it may be like there. All right, so now I'm going to dive into study abroad. So first, I'm going to start off with a video that showcases a few students who have studied abroad. And keep in mind, one of the students in this video, he actually studied abroad 5 times, which that's one of my favorite questions that I get asked. Sometimes students say, how many times can I study abroad? Honestly, the answer is as many times as you'd like, and we love to make it happen for you once and even more than once if possible.
I knew that I would always want to study abroad in Italy, and so once I found out that Stony Brook has a program in Florence, I knew that it was a perfect fit for me.
But after orientation, after I made friends, after all that, I just started going out more. I started seeing the city, seeing what Seoul had to offer, and it was just a lot of fun for me.
My first time stepping foot in Tanzania was so breathtaking. I was actually able to encapsulate that moment through journals. And you know, what I actually wrote the first time was that the grass was much greener, the sky was much bluer, and the air was much cleaner when I first got there.
As an engineering major, I was able to work with my advisors and go study abroad, have a great experience, and still be on track for graduation.
In Peru, I went whitewater rafting. In Spain, I was able to take cooking classes. In China, I visited the Great Wall. I took a harbor tour of Shanghai. I saw the terracotta warriors. The list just goes on and on of the fantastic experiences I had while abroad.
Being able to go to Mount Kilimanjaro and just climb a mountain for the first time, you know, and seeing how completely different it was from anything I can imagine.
On the Jamaica study abroad, learning in the environment where you're picking up the specimens and you're looking at the coral and the fish firsthand with your professor who's a professional in this field totally exceeds sitting in the classroom flipping through a textbook and only imagining what they look like in real life. So that was just a really special experience that just enhances it tenfold.
Some of the things I gained from studying abroad was a higher level of confidence, independence, and responsibility that I feel I could have only gained by studying abroad. Not to mention the fact that my Italian speaking skills and language skills were also increased.
It's something that you could read about or hear about in orientation, read about your itinerary and see what you're gonna do. But once you get there, it's nothing that your mind can fathom completely.
Academically, it really put me in a position to have amazing things to put on applications for grad school, transcripts, and really amazing people to reach out to if I needed a letter of recommendation as well.
During my first day of orientation, I was like, I need to make a friend here. I need to force myself out of my comfort zone, and that's what the study abroad program really pushed me to do. When I got back, I couldn't stop talking about it. I made a lot of new friends that I still text today, and it just made me see the world in a different way. Stony Brook really prepared me for my study abroad experience, and when I went to Korea, the partner university there gave me even more orientations where they taught me about the mannerisms in Korea and who to call for emergencies, and just acclimated me to the new environment.
When you weigh the costs of tuition for the credits that you're taking and accommodations and traveling, it is the most economical option for going out in the world and experiencing a new culture and a new place. It's an amazing value, and you'll be happy that you invested in it.
I worked closely with the financial aid office to help develop a plan to fit my financial aid needs.
Studying abroad was probably one of the cheapest semesters at Stony Brook. All my financial aid counted towards the program, and I was a recipient of the IAP Study Abroad Scholarship.
I recommend studying abroad because it's a fantastic opportunity that you can really only have in college, that carries with it so many fantastic benefits, so why let it pass you by?
Once you're on a plane, you're thinking about everything that you learned in orientation and everything that you're gonna do. Once you actually physically get there, it's gonna blow your mind.
I recommend study abroad to everybody. If you talk to anybody who's done study abroad, you will not find a single person that says they don't want to go on another one or they wish they didn't do it.
Well, I just feel like study abroad is for that person that just wants the best for themselves. And I think that, it's one of the best things I definitely did as a student, and then as a person too. It's something that you can't really put into words. It's something that you have to experience for yourself.
That video because it just gives students such a great glimpse as to what a study abroad opportunity could be like, and of course all of its benefits. I often have students and faculty and staff who didn't take advantage of a study abroad experience who see me in the office or whatever it may be, and they always say that they regret not taking advantage of that. But I've never had a student come back from a program and say that they regret participating in it. If anything, they'd love to participate in another one. So in regards to study abroad program types, so we have partner university programs. That is when a student studies abroad at a partner university in which we have a partnership with, and they take classes there. They're taught by their respective schools, faculty, and staff, and they study amongst students that are degree seeking at that institution. So for instance, University College London, they are number 7 in the world. The Sky universities in South Korea, so like Seoul National, Yonsei University, etc. They're like the Harvards and the Yales of South Korea. So you could study there for a semester, for instance. And we primarily have partner university programs that occur all throughout the year. So winter, spring, summer, and fall, or you can even potentially study abroad through the entire academic year as well. We also have faculty-led programs. So that's when a Stony Brook University professor takes a cohort of students overseas. Those typically occur during the winter and the summer terms. So winter is usually about 2 weeks. Summer could be 2 weeks to about a month. And those professors that take those students abroad, they have a unique interest and experience in the area. Maybe they grew up in that country. Maybe they studied there. Maybe they have family from there. They did research. I mean, the list really goes on. And it's so wonderful to be able to have that faculty member to take students abroad and to provide their insight into the area, because you really have someone who's just so familiar with the area and could really show you a genuine experience. So as I mentioned, usually winter and summer. Those programs are typically in Singapore, Greece, China, Korea, Tanzania, Italy, etc. And then we actually have two faculty-led programs that occur during the semesters. So that's the Center of Bio in Madagascar and the Turkana Basin Institutes in Kenya. Those occur during the fall and/or spring semester. And on those faculty-led programs, students would be taking a Stony Brook University course. And then there's also hands-on learning opportunities. So studying abroad in itself is truly hands-on. So you could take courses on a program, and then in addition to that, there may be a research and/or internship option too. So maybe you'd like to be an art gallery curator in Italy, or do coral reef preservation in Jamaica, or shark tagging, for instance. They recently did that. So there's a lot of options for students to expand their resume and get that hands-on learning opportunity. So these are locations in which we have our study abroad programs. So Africa, Asia, Europe, South America, I mean, the list goes on. So there's a lot of options. And so we likely have a program in a location in which you're interested in. And what's really cool is, should you, become a Stony Brook University student, you're part of the SUNY system, so the State University of New York. And what we love to share with students is there are 64 SUNY campuses, and many Stony Brook students are eligible to go on other SUNY study abroad campus programs. So what I mean by that is, let's say you notice that we don't have Iceland on this list, but SUNY Binghamton does. You actually might be able to study abroad on SUNY Binghamton's Iceland program for the semester. We have students who do that from time to time. And then we also have other SUNY students go on our study abroad programs. So here I'm going to talk about scholarships and financial aid, likely what many of you may be interested in. So my office, our official name is IAP, International Academic Programs. We give away about $100,000 in scholarships a year. So many students are awarded a scholarship through the scholarship that we administer. It's called the IAP scholarship. Students just need a 3.0 or above, and they need to be participating on a Stony Brook University program. And it doesn't matter what location they're going to or what the duration of their program is. No matter the semester, they're eligible to apply for that scholarship. We also weekly give away $500 for students to apply for our program. Be sure to give us a follow. It's at SBU Study Abroad. Usually on Wednesdays, we'll post a trivia question, and students can enter into our raffle to receive up to $500 towards a study abroad program. So even though maybe you're admitted or prospective, you can still give us a follow and enter, but you'll only be able to apply the award if you do indeed choose Stony Brook. There's also nationally competitive scholarships. So you may not know your aid packages yet, but should you be a Pell Grant recipient, you're actually eligible to receive the Gilman Award. That is a wonderful, prestigious award that is facilitated by the U.S. Department of State. Base level, students can receive upwards of $5,000. And then there's additional opportunities for students to receive more funding. So maybe you're going on a program that's STEM focused. You can actually apply for another essay to receive an additional $1,000. Maybe you're going to a country that has a critical need for a language. Maybe you're going to Korea, for instance, and that's deemed as a critical need language by the Gilman. That's an additional $1,000 that you can apply for. And there isn't a GPA requirement for the Gilman Award. And it's just about 500 or so word essays in which you have to submit in order to be considered. And what's really cool about the Gilman is students get put into a network of Gilman alum, and there's actually workshops that the U.S. Department of State facilitates for students even after their program too. So it's just a wonderful way for you to stay connected and build upon those networking connections. There's also host university financial opportunities. So sometimes we have universities that come to us and provide scholarships for our students. So business majors and minors. We have Christian Sod University, in which students are being provided about 3,000 or so euro for the semester. Or Tübingen University, students were given about 800 euro each month in which they were studying abroad. And I mentioned before, a lot of students and their families are, of course, concerned about funding, rightfully so. And these are such great ways in order for you to take advantage of it so you can help fund your program. Sometimes these funds don't go used. So I mentioned that scholarship opportunity from Tübingen University in Germany. No one applied for the scholarship, unfortunately, and therefore no one received the funds. So the funds exist. It's just a matter of you taking advantage of the opportunities and applying toward these awards. And what's really great is those partner universities that I mentioned before, University College London, Seoul National. We have a lot of partner universities. Those are exchange programs. So that means that the tuition that students will pay at Stony Brook is the same exact tuition students will pay to go to Japan, England, France, Australia, New Zealand for the semester. So to me, it makes sense, of course, to take advantage of a study abroad opportunity because you may already be paying that tuition to Stony Brook. You might as well pay it to study abroad for the semester. And then what's also really awesome is that many students are able to apply their financial aid towards their program. So of course you'd speak to the financial aid office to see if that's possible for you. But typically how it works is if a student is studying full time and making degree progress, then they're typically able to apply their aid towards their program. So it's another layer of funding opportunities in which students can take advantage of. So I recommend, if you haven't done so already, definitely check out our site. It's stonybrook.edu/study abroad. You click this Explore Programs tab, and that's where you're able to view all of our programs and all the details regarding each program. So you can filter by country, by term, by program type. Maybe you prefer a faculty-led program over a partner university program. You can filter just that way. And on each program page, you're able to see the different details regarding the program. So what's the GPA requirement? When is the deadline? What are the course offerings? All that information is available on each program's page, and including the budget. So I know someone had pre-submitted a question regarding budget. So I mentioned the funding opportunities, and then you're able to see the budget for all of our programs on each respective program's page. So I should have taken a screenshot of it, but essentially on each budget page, you're able to see on the top section, it'll indicate the amount that will bill you in solar. That's the Stony Brook University platform in which students pay their bill. And then the bottom section reflects the amount of money it'll cost students to estimated costs. So maybe it's flight and food. Those are things that we do our best to estimate, but and we lay it out there for students. So students and their families and guardians can have a good insight into how much it may cost to participate on this program. And of course, those cost sheets don't reflect how much you're receiving in aid. Maybe you will be awarded a Stony Brook University scholarship that you might be eligible to apply towards your program, etc. So now I'm going to briefly discuss the freshman launch year. So this is an opportunity for students in their first year, in their first semester, to study abroad. You likely have not received information regarding this yet, but you may receive information regarding this in your email inbox within the coming weeks. And here's just a good opportunity for me to give a little overview. So we have 4 campuses in which students can participate on the FLY program. So we have Florence, Italy, Incheon, Korea, Seoul, Korea, and Shanghai, China. So like I mentioned, students would participate in the FLY program in the fall semester of their first year. And we have courses that are pre-selected and evaluated. So the Study Abroad Office works with the respective academic advisor for students to plan and recommend courses that'll help a student make degree progress. Again, maybe it's for your major, minor, or those general education requirements. Housing for each of those 4 locations is guaranteed. And there's also for each respective location on-site guidance and support. And what's really cool is there's also cultural enrichment activities. So for instance, this picture here are students that are participating in a cooking class in Florence, Italy. And these are actually FLY students in this photo too. This was actually the first cohort in which we sent students to Italy for the FLY program. So we have opportunities for students to have those cultural site visits or activities in which they get a better understanding of what that culture may entail. As you can tell in this photo, it's Italy, so of course they're making pasta, but there's other opportunities in different countries in which you'll get a good understanding of their culture, for instance, and it's being facilitated by faculty and or staff of that school. There's also cost savings, which I'll get into in a moment. And then we provide a smooth transition to Stony Brook University campus. So we have guaranteed housing upon your return, and you'll work with your academic advisors to do your spring 2027 course enrollment, amongst other items. And then we also connect with Fly students upon their return. We'll have like lunch with you all just to touch base. You'll maybe meet other Fly students that participated on other programs. And if you have any questions regarding this, again, you're going to receive an email regarding the Fly program, but you can also reach out to fly@stonybrook.edu. And there's a website too. All right, so here's just a cost comparison. As I mentioned before, even in regards to the study abroad program, there is the here on the left-hand panel is a column that shows how much it may cost at Stony Brook to study for the semester. And then listed to the right are the cost comparisons to study at the 4 locations. So as you can tell, it's very comparable. And you may even see that in some cases, it may be more affordable to study somewhere in China or Korea for the semester. And that's because, as you may know, sometimes it may be more affordable to live in Korea because of the housing or the food. So that's why you may see that it may be just a little bit more affordable for the semester to take advantage of that opportunity. And this reflects in-state tuition rates. So now I'm going to briefly show about a 2.5 or so minute video regarding the Fly program. This is a video from Fly students who studied in Italy for the semester and their firsthand experiences.
I really enjoyed taking Cultural Introduction to Italy. My professor Livia is from Florence, so I got a really good sense of the city of Florence, the history of Italy, and it really made me appreciate the city and all of Italy more because I got a much better understanding of why it is the way it is and the richness of the history in Italy and Florence in particular.
The course I enjoy the most probably is the Master of the Architecture. So Florence is a city that have a lot of old buildings. So what I learned is the Baroque style. So every time we have class, we can have a field trip, like take a visit the actual buildings around the Florence. So it might help you to learn better of the architecture. Okay, I mean, it's quite convenient to live around the city center. Like, there's a lot of grocery shops and a lot of like cafeteria. So after you having class, you can take a cappuccino. Like, it's very chill here.
The best thing about the apartment is how centrally located it is. I get to walk right to the Duomo next door and get a cappuccino. I can have easy access to all the historical parts of the city. It's really amazing being able to just walk literally anywhere in Florence.
Okay, what I enjoy the most is probably the cooking class. They teach us how to cook the Italian food, and at the end of the semester, we also have another one to teach us cook the food around the world. So that's really helpful to cook something for your meal.
Welcome, teachers. You started with us a few weeks ago. Many arrived. Many news that we
Right. And as you can see, we have another location in Korea that's at the SUNY Korea campus too that was recently added. So our video has to be updated accordingly. So it's a wonderful opportunity for students to be able to study abroad within their first semester. And if you feel like it's not a good fit for you, whatever it may be, there's of course the opportunities that I shared with you before regarding national student exchange or study abroad opportunities during your sophomore, junior, or senior year at Stony Brook University. So here are just some pictures of students who've studied abroad in the past. We had students who studied abroad in Ireland, in Tanzania, in Jamaica, in Korea. All right. So, does anyone have any questions? I haven't checked the Q&A. Okay. So I see, would the study abroad cost for out-of-state students be the cost of in-state or the cost of out-of-state students? So on the budget sheets, we have two separate lines for in-state and out-of-state students. So students paying currently that will pay in-state tuition to Stony Brook will pay in-state tuition on their study abroad program. If you are deemed as an out-of-state student, then you will pay out-of-state tuition for a study abroad program. How do you apply for FLY? That's so that's information that's going to be shared with you via email. That you can email fly@stony.edu or hang tight and you'll receive email communication regarding that. Let me just mark these answered live. Okay. Are there any specific study abroad or programs that could be beneficial to specialize for a career in law? Something I forgot to mention in this, which is very important, is we often get asked questions like, oh, I'm a business major, I'm a pre-law, I'm math. What program fits me best? And that's an understandable question to ask. So what's really great is those partner schools that I mentioned, we have a lot of partner schools that are like Stony Brook. So they have a plethora of subject offerings. So they likely have business, law, math, physics, so many different course offerings. So you can study at many of those locations and build a well-rounded schedule, just like how you would do at Stony Brook, and you would make degree progress. So maybe you're pre-law and you want to take political science classes, for instance. That's a major or a subject area that's very common in our partner universities. So you'd still be able to make that degree progress abroad, despite your major. And then sometimes students feel that they're in the STEM field that they're not able to go abroad for a semester. It happens often. We're able to facilitate that experience for students. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions about that. We'll work with you and your academic advisor to help make that possible. And maybe it's not possible for this semester. Maybe you brought in a lot of credits. Maybe a summer or winter term could fit you best. And similarly, let's say you're a computer science major, you don't have to go abroad and take computer science. You can go abroad for the winter term, you can study in Italy, and you can take a general education course because that course could still help you make degree progress. It might not be for your major, and that's okay, but it might fulfill a gen ed. Also, I see someone providing their email address. If you have any questions about studying abroad, reach out to us directly at studyabroad@stonybrook.edu. All right. Are there study abroad programs that can accommodate the classes needed for computers? Oh, that's so funny. I use computer science as an example. Yes, sure. There are programs in which you can receive computer science credit. How it works is we have this really great database in which students who previously studied abroad, we put in that database how the courses came back to Stony Brook. So that's a good starting point for students. You're able to see how courses gave students degree credit here. But there's a lot of courses offered at our partner schools. So let's say you want to go to the University of Leeds and you know they have computer science courses there. We just tell students in order to get the course evaluated, you get the syllabus for the courses you want to take, and it has to be evaluated by the respective department here. So whether it be comp sci, business, math, English literature, basically the syllabus just has to be evaluated by the academic department here. And that's how you know before you even jump on a plane to go on your program that you're getting the credit that you'd like to receive. If you study abroad, are there any cons in terms of academics as education? Will studying abroad affect my learning and credits? So a lot of our partner schools, you're going to get a world-class education. I mentioned before, University College London, they're top 7 in the world. A lot of our schools are actually in the top 100 schools ranked in the world. But there's also things you want to keep in mind. There is going to be a transition. So you want to be able to utilize the resources that you would eventually utilize at Stony Brook. So tutoring centers, professors' office hours, and all of that. Because you want to keep in mind that there may be a language barrier amongst other things that could be challenging, but overall rewarding once you get a good grasp on them. And then in terms of credits, if you choose a partner university program, the courses that you take and the grades that you earn on those programs are not going to calculate into your Stony Brook University GPA, but the letter grade that you earn will be reflected on your official transcript. If you do a faculty-led program, because as you may recall, those programs are facilitated by Stony Brook professors. So you're taking a Stony Brook course. So the grade that you earn on that program does factor into your Stony Brook University GPA. Hopefully I answered that one fully for you. Are students able to put their merits as presidential scholarships towards study abroad programs? Yes, in many cases, yes, students can indeed apply those types of scholarships towards their study abroad programs. Depending on whatever scholarship you're receiving, you want to, of course, adhere to the stipulations, you know, be in good academic standing, be full-time, amongst maybe other stipulations, but typically, yes. How do you apply for international internships? Is it a standard interview process like a domestic internship? Can you combine study abroad with internships? Sometimes our programs offer internship opportunities. It really depends on the school. So we have a program at the Universidad de Alcalá in Spain. They're very close to Madrid. They have an internship opportunity. So how that one works, for instance, is our students will interview with Alcalá, and then they'll be placed with a company based off of their interview and their interests and their academic goals. But it really depends on the location in which you choose. What are the requirements for flying regarding visa and such? So similarly, it depends on where you go. And it depends on your immigration status. So if you are a US citizen, for instance, if you're studying in many countries in Europe for 90 or less days, you don't require a visa. If you're studying in Europe for more than 90 days, you do require a visa. So it depends on the country, it depends on your immigration status. We will walk you through that. For some programs, we may go to the respective country's consulate and obtain your visa application. In some cases, you might have to represent yourself at that respective country's consulates in New York City, or depending on what state you're from, you might actually have to go to that state's respective consulate. It really depends, but we would definitely be there as a resource to help you navigate that process. I mentioned housing being guaranteed for fly students. Is it guaranteed for all study abroad programs? I hate that I'm saying this again, but it also depends. So if you when you scroll on our website, you're able to see the living accommodations for each program. It's going to say what it entails. So it may say arranged by partner university. It might say arranged by third party, or it could say independent arrangement. So if you went to Florence, you have guaranteed housing. If you went to France, housing isn't guaranteed, but you'd go through a third party vendor and you would obtain housing that way. I've never had, I mean, maybe once, very rarely, have I had an instance in which students couldn't obtain housing on a study abroad program. In many, many instances, they do. And it's either housing is through the partner university, or it's through a third party, or you're doing a faculty-led program and my office arranges the study abroad housing for you. How does studying abroad work with student engagement on campus? How does a student stay engaged with their campus clubs? I got accepted to the scholarship program. That's wonderful. Would I be missing any program requirements for studying abroad for a semester? That's something I recommend you speak to your scholar advisor for. We have many students that are in the Honors College, in Scholars, in Simon STEM that participate on study abroad programs. So you'll just have to see ways in which you can still stay engaged with the Scholars program while you're away. I'm sure it's possible because many of our students do it. And then what's really great is you're going to be engaged in other ways. You're going to be abroad on a study abroad program, and you may be engaged in campus clubs there. We have a lot of students who go on our study abroad programs that join clubs and organizations at those schools in which they're studying abroad. Is there a language requirement to study abroad? That's a great question. I should have included that in my presentation. So many of the programs that we administer, the language of instruction is in English. For all the faculty-led programs, the courses are taught in English. Even though you might be in Tanzania for the summer, you don't have to be fluent in Swahili. And then for many of those partner programs that we have, students, typically the courses are taught in English, but there are a couple in which the language of instruction is of that host country. So some in France, some in Japan, for instance, you have to know French and Japanese respectively. If you're interested in a particular program, you're on that respective program's page, you're actually able to see the language of instruction too. So you can find that out as early as tonight if that's something you're interested in. Are some of the study abroad programs competitive, like UCL? Yes, that's a great example too. Some are competitive. How an exchange program works is we send 3 students abroad to UCL, for instance, and they send 3 students here. So depending on how many students we send to them and how many students they send to us determines how many spots we have available. So if I have 6 students who apply to UCL, but I only have 3 spots. Unfortunately, I can't send all 6 students. But so that's why we always ask students on their application to rank their second and their third choices. So maybe University College London is your first choice, but maybe University of Manchester, another wonderful, highly ranked school, is in your second choice, is marked as your second choice. It asks you, hey, unfortunately, UCL isn't going to work. Are you interested in the University of Manchester? And we'd walk you through how that process works. How big of a difference are courses studied abroad programs? How big of a difference are courses studied at abroad programs from programs studied at Stony Brook? So some of the programs it really depends which program that you choose. All of the partnerships that we have, they're really wonderful programs. They're at similar caliber of Stony Brook. Not saying that you all feel this way, but sometimes students think that studying abroad might be a walk in the park. It's really not the case because, of course, you're going to have a semester of a lifetime, but you have to remember these are academic programs. You're getting credit for these courses, so they'll be similar in caliber to Stony Brook. And again, you'll just have to make sure you take advantage of all the resources that partner school may offer, or that faculty-led program may offer, in order to stay on track. All right. I'm sorry if I didn't catch this, but is there a website that has all the scholarships? Yes. So head to stonybrook.edu/study abroad. On our website, there's a tab called funding, and that's where you can see some of the scholarships that I mentioned, and then there's more. I mean, we have a scholarship, and this is good for you all being maybe high school students right now. We have a Mario Mignone scholarship, for instance. That's a scholarship in which students can apply to who took at least 1 semester of college level Italian. So I'm planting the seed now. If you're interested in taking a language course at Stony Brook, maybe you need it for your general education requirements, or maybe you just are interested in the Italian language, you would qualify for that Mario Mignone scholarship for the Florence University of the Arts semester program. And that scholarship awards the entire program fee. It's about $8,500 or something similar like that. So you would qualify because of your Italian language college experience. We wouldn't be able to count if you took the AP exam and received credit, or whatever it may be, but it has to be college level Italian. But yes, check out the funding tab. Okay, do you know if this program works well with military students, like, for example, National Guard? I would need more clarification regarding that question. Like, are you currently National Guard? Things like that. I would recommend you reach out to our email, and we can maybe set up a one-on-one advising appointment, and we can chat about how that may work. Are there any remote international internship opportunities? That's a good question because there used to be. If that's something you're interested in, send us an email and I can find out if those opportunities are still available. We used to do that. We used to have like language programs that were taught internationally that you could tune in remotely and participate in. So potentially send us an email. Any other questions? Oh, thank you. I see you put our website link in the chat. Thank you, Amanda. All right, we have a little unrelated, but for scholars honors programs, is it too late to apply for them? Oh, I don't know if you know, Amanda. Yeah.
Yes, it's too late for students to apply. Unfortunately, their extended deadline was February 1st. But for the Honors College specifically, they are the only university honors program that has an opportunity for students who enroll at Stony Brook during or after their first year to apply to the Honors College. But also keep in mind, that Stony Brook University is pretty competitive. So if you're looking for an honors experience, you may feel that you're getting one in our majors. But also many of our majors have honors programs within them. So you can have honors experiences even if you're not in one of the university honors programs.
Great. All right.
Well,
Looks like no more questions.
I
Yeah.
don't see any more questions. You answered all the questions, which was wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you so much for providing so much information. I'm really excited about the opportunity to study abroad, but I can't because I have to work and pay my mortgage and take care of my cat and dog. So I'm jealous of all of the students who may be able to do this. Thank you again, Margaret. And for those of you who have been accepted to Stony Brook, congratulations. We obviously hope to see you on campus, either at an upcoming on-campus event or as a Seawolf in the fall. For those of you who are currently in high school, juniors or sophomores in high school, or parents or supporters of future college applicants, we hope that you'll consider applying to Stony Brook in the future. The application for fall 2027 opens August 1st. These years keep going up. So again, thank you for your time, Margaret, and to all of our attendees. We wish you the best. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.